Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of whatever this show is called. And today we're talking about the Red Cow Arcade podcast, whatever you want to call it. A little bisexual cast, where these two talk to each other and discuss various things. I might have to not show the footage of what's going on. To preface this video, the Wolves talked about this. Steve and his wife talked about this in a video they did a couple days ago. And not to steal their thunder, I think they have very good points, and they're much more intelligent and eloquent than I am about these types of things. But I felt I saw something I could add to the discussion. And that's why I'm making this video. So, God, Frankie looks terrible. Like, what is going on? Just looks bad. Just looks like splotchy. And he's even got the Ring camera on, and he's probably even got the Ring light on, and he's probably got the Ring camera. What am I talking about? I just installed one of those the other day for a customer. That's why it's on my mind. The Ring light is what I mean to say. But he's even got his little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on in the background. He's probably had a couple sips of coffee. He's all, he feels all energized and ready to talk about his life. Talk about what happened. But anyway, let's get this baby started.
How you doing, EJ?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Frankie?
I'm okay. I still got a chapped ass from something that happened at the trampoline park. I didn't break my toe. I chapped my ass.
When? Where?
The trampoline park has become a big part of my life. Throughout Gloria's childhood, we kind of, like, I went to a Dave & Buster's with her when she was 3. Then we were like, oh, is Chuck E. Cheese still open these days? And then we started going to Chuck E. Cheese a lot. Or we go to this place called Ryan's Amusements. There's a children's museum in Fall River it's like a converted cathedral that became a children's museum. Of course, playgrounds. So that it just, you understand when you're, when you've got some time on a Sunday afternoon, you just need to, like, point their energy in a direction, right?
How do you have time on a Sunday afternoon when you're going to church and you're on the crew to film what's going on at church? So you're on the audiovisual club for church. So that means you have responsibilities, and that means you got to get ready for your work week. And that means you have to, go out and do things to get ready for your work week. And then you have to get your household ready for whatever needs to happen. So how do you have time to go out and do this kind of stuff? I get you only have one kid, but you have like infinite time. You have infinite time. I have a lot more kids than you do because my loins are fertile, and I have been able to produce a lot of offspring. So my thought is, you have all this time to do this stuff, and you have all this time to do this show, and you have all this time to go out and do these events and spend frivolous money on jumping around when you could simply just go play in the backyard. Go play on the swing set in the backyard, or go to the park and throw a frisbee. It's the same amount of fun, and you don't have to spend a cover charge to get in there and watch your child, and you don't have to expose your child to this commercial lifestyle where everything is, well, a transactional thing. You have to pay to get in here, pay to do this. Teach some frugalness. Teach your child that you can use your imagination instead of having everything spoon-fed to them. The other day, my son broke his Nerf sword. He has a foam Nerf sword, and he basically degloved all the foam off of it, and he was mad about it. And I said, no, that's cool, because it's still got a hilt. It still has the part you grip. And then the internal part, that can be like, I don't know, some type of laser sword. I didn't call it a lightsaber because we don't do Star Wars in our house. We don't fuck with that. But I called it some type of laser sword for him. And he's like, oh, that's so cool, Dad. And he went out and played with the rest of the kids. So you use your fucking imagination. Teach your child to use their imagination instead of always having a stimulus that is a commercial, consumerist style of instant gratification and bright and shiny, fun, plasticky things.
I always saw these trampoline parks pop up. It reminded me of like cannabis centers, all this kind of 2020s trash. But then I actually went to one. I broke my toe, as is memorialized and documented through this podcast.
Do you know how many times I've broken my toe? A ton. And I don't cry about it. In fact, last year I broke my toe and played hockey all season long. Just taped my foot and shoved it in the boot and played hockey. Stop being a bitch.
But since then, she almost every weekend, she's like, do you think maybe we could go to a trampoline park, perhaps? So we've been, I don't know, I'd say like probably once every other weekend we end up at one. And there's 3 in our area. There's one right across from church. So there have been times where Nina's had to stay after for a meeting or something. And so I take her. They have like a giant machine.
So Nina has to stay after for a meeting, but Frankie doesn't. Let me explain something. If you are both in ministry, because that is what you're doing, right? You're working at church. That is a form of ministry. You both need to be there. As a couple, as a man and a woman, you need to be together when you're doing those types of things. If you have separated yourself from your wife, from her service of the church, you are not honoring the commitment to God that you should be. You should be together. If you're serving the church, you serve together. My wife and I serve together at our church. We're both on our board. We both take over youth ministries. We both take over projects for the church. I do all the electrical work for my church. It's just, and usually a lot of the HVAC and a lot of the planning. And if there needs something moved, it's me and whoever strong guy I can find to go move stuff. So when he separates himself from ministry because my job is done and I can go play, it just makes me cringe, because I know he doesn't see that commitment as anything valuable or important. He doesn't see being there when his wife is there working for the church as important.
That if you feed it, you can make like mix and match cups of candy.
He's got Mac on the brain. He can't let it go.
So you can be like, for $6, give me like some peanut butter M&Ms and some Reese's Pieces. You can make one of those things. So that's one of the major features of that particular one.
Which one has the VR setup that you were talking about?
The New Bedford one, yeah, and a VR system much like you see at Dave and Buster's, where it's like almost like stadium seating, and you pick a game. And what I didn't expect was, like, I don't know, 7 out of the 10 are brutally violent.
Okay. VR is mostly shooting. VR is mostly shooter games. There's a little bit of adventure, but when you think about what VR caters to, it's swords, it's shooters, swords and sorcery, whatever that game is. It's brutal combat. I love playing Into the Radius 1 and 2, where there's some like survival horror, a little bit of looter shooter, extraction, strategy. It's a mill sim type of thing. VR is very, very good for first person type experiences. What else are you going to do? You can play driving games. You can play space games. You can play walking simulator style games. You can play survival games, but it's all first person. So yes, you're going to have violence in those experiences. Most games, I hate to break it to you, Frankie, but they're violent. The other day, my kids and I started playing, well, at least the older kids started playing VeggieTales, Big Ideas, VeggieTales, Larry Boy, and the Bad Apple on PS2. And I've got to say, it is an absolutely delightful game. Unbelievable. It's so good. It's got the bubbly art style of like a Sly Cooper or a Precursor Orbs. Well, what's the game? Jack and Daxter, Precursor Orbs. Like just PlayStation 2 gorgeous polish. And yet it's a biblical game. I highly, highly recommend it. It is very fun. Very fun, even if you're not religious. Extremely fun game. I got it for $11 and we played on a real PS2 and it is gorgeous. So, what I'm seeing from Frankie is not only is he exposing himself to violent stuff, VR stuff, but he's exposing his daughter to it by taking her to these arcades. I don't take my kids to arcades like that. I think they're full of stuff I don't want them to see. But I mean, this is the guy that has, Resident Evil 2 on his screen in the background. EJ does, and I'm sure his kids go down there and look at Resident Evil 2 and they're like, that's the scary one.
like brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, like blood and
EJ, that was the most forced laugh I have ever seen. Let's look at that again.
violent. like brutal.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, like blood and guts. Like there's a Christmas one where like, let's do that. And then, you're killing like snowmen and they're bleeding. And
We're going to have to fast forward a little bit of this because Frankie is, he just cannot get to the point. He can't get to the point of anything. So we're going to fast forward.
then you just chuck balls at one another all the time. Ends of the dodgeball area, off area, all of the floor is interestingly. But something happened the last time. So all three of them have a dodgeball area. So imagine a netted off area. All of the floor is trampoline, segmented by padding. And then they have these kind of like steep inclines on the west and east ends of the dodgeball area that are also trampoline material.
So what I'm seeing is Frankie took his camera to these trampoline parks and filmed other people's kids. As a parent, I don't want my kids being filmed by some other fucking creepo. You just look like a prototypical PDF file. Both of you do. I don't want you taking pictures of my children, and I especially don't want you putting them on the internet. I know you have no morals or ethics or values, and you don't see the value in shielding your kids from the horrors of the internet, but you're putting your chubby daughter on the internet to be made fun of. And you don't see anything wrong with it. And yeah, you'll hit me with a bullying claim like you did last time. But I told you the truth. Your friend is fat and he's unhealthy. And your daughter is fat and she's unhealthy. And you're fat and you're unhealthy. There's nothing wrong with what I said. It is the truth.
And then they put like a ton of really soft, spongy balls in the area. And then you just chuck balls at one another all the time. And you can even like there's kind of like a landing area at the top of those inclines, so you can hide out up there, you can like make fort up there. It's fun. Gloria always kind of coaxes me into that room where I find myself like facilitating or mediating the play.
Taking control because you're a control freak and you have to dictate how people play at all times. You know what I do with my children? Sometimes I just put them in a space, give them tools to play, and walk away. And whatever happens, happens. If they want me to come back, they will ask me to come back. If they want me to be included in their play, they will ask me to be included. But instead, you insert yourself into child play. There's times where my sons will want to build Lego or want to build Lincoln Logs or what have you, and they ask me to come play with them. I don't insert myself and say, I have to play with you or control how they will play. What I see you do is break into the child's world and force them to behave a certain way because you're incapable of relinquishing control of anything because you haven't experienced the real world in your entire life. You've been in an echo chamber where everyone has patted your back and allowed you to take control of these situations when you were ill-equipped to do so. Not only that, you have basically used your friends as punching bags to get what you want out of them, such as being on your show or editing your videos or not only being on your show, but feeding them on your show and making them obese, all these types of things. So you've got this groupthink, this echo chamber where everyone just appeals to Frankie's desires and needs. Even your wife does it. It's whatever Frankie needs. I will do whatever he needs. I don't know how you've got the control over these people. I really don't. Because there's really nothing in life that you can do that brings value besides talking about yourself. That's all you can do. That's all I see you do. All I see you do is talk about yourself. That's even to the point of your show, even to the point of your movies. It's like an extension of your personality. It's a padding of your ego. No matter what you're doing, that is what your goal is to pad your ego. That's a tiny man syndrome problem. It's not about what other people need. And do you want to know what happens when other people need something? You just do it. You just do it. You don't need to talk about it. You just do what is necessary. That's not a concept that you understand.
Kids love chucking a ball at a grown-up. Especially if the grown-up looks down, they're like, oh, good. Like, we can actually be kind of like rough on this guy. Or, they like ganging up, like, oh, we can all throw, it's kids versus grown-ups. Like they almost always do that. And on a number of occasions now, it's turned out that I'm kind of the one, there's like a parent outside of the area on a phone, and I'm the one kind of like suddenly parenting the whole group. Accident.
I'm seeing that in this entire exchange of him talking about other people's children, he has not spoken once about his child, who I don't think she is running around pelting people with vicious intent that he is describing. Gloria does not seem the type. She seems like a fairly passive individual. I think she's got a lot of her dad's ego in there, where she's got to be, the one-upmanship in terms of, talking about things. And I know this and I know that. Actually, she is going to grow up to be one of those chubby actually kids. And it's going to be terrible for her. Her future is full of GLP-1s and having no friends and probably anxiety and depression meds.
Accidentally. And but always, every single time, the parent's like, oh, hey, thanks for that. Like, thanks for playing with our kids. Like, he really got a kick out of that.
Thanks for playing with our kids. Thanks for playing with our kids. Are you serious? Do not play with my children. That's not a good thing. Do not play with my children. I don't need you to do that. I sent my kids to the trampoline park to play with other children, not a creepo pedophile adult trying to LARP as a good parent. Like, look how good of a parent I am. I took my kids to the trampoline park and I interject with their play.
Because you know me, like, I'll inject like narrative into him. Like, get him. No, he's going that
way. Did I speak of the devil? It's almost like I know what I'm talking about. Did I speak of the devil? He injects himself into the problem, into the discussion, into whatever. He injects himself into the child play so that he can control what they are doing. Go get him, go get them.
Well, I'll sort of like rev them up a bit. One great thing about my kid is she does not allow me to be a bad parent. As soon as like I take out the phone and start kind of like, paying attention to Discord or something, she is like, dad, over here, dad. Like, she'll just figure out a way to get me off that phone. Like she has no tolerance for it. So it's good. There's a good control.
Yeah. Noah's been doing that.
A child is not supposed to control their parent. A child is to be obedient. Sorry, Frankie, you failed.
Like, I don't go on my phone even that often, but if I even look at it for a second, he'll be like, put away the phone, daddy.
Oh yeah. The times I pull up, if we're doing a movie night and I pull up the phone, she's like, no phones. Like,
you control your children.
Stare at the movie. We recently did Crudes 2, the caveman. Well, we did both, but Crudes 2 was the good one. I'm willing to say.
Why are we talking about this? Just garbage tier movies. Come on, we gotta. Oh, Puss in Boots. We watched Puss in Boots. Oh, congratulations.
About 5, and he's throwing balls at me like with that real kind of like.
So now we're on to the main event. This is what I really wanted to get to. And sorry if I'm retreading ground that the wolves have already tread on, but the chicken has to come in and pick up the scraps. The chicken fucker, as Frankie would call me.
Athletic, energy.
Yeah.
And I'm I throw a few back at him real mild. Oh, but
so he's discussing that he encountered and singled out a young boy that was intent on throwing balls at him.
Before I walked in, there was a guy on his phone in a white tee with I don't know what you call it. I always say a flat brim hat. Every time I say that though, people are like, what are you talking about? Flat brim.
The RGT 85 hat.
Well, this guy from afar looks a whole lot like RGT.
So why are you taking pictures of him? You've told the internet where you go. It's across from your church or wherever. I mean, like Google where Frankie lives and the amount of trampoline parks, and chances are you can get a triangulation of where this person lives.
He looked like if RGT put on about 15.
I think he's even lost weight, recently.
Yeah.
So we're talking about weight because those that live in a glass house need to throw stones. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. He's always talking about those fatal illnesses, guys.
She said, your blood pressure is 240 over 190. And I was like, how is that high?
I don't even know who this guy is. I don't care.
So
your comments will keep me alive. Literally.
If you want to keep RGT alive, simply comment and like and subscribe.
Oh, this is when he talks about Peter Pan. He refers to the comments to, Tinkerbell coming back to life.
Yeah, so this dude looks like RGT, and I'm like, I'm getting a kick out of that.
I really don't understand how that's funny. That part of Peter Pan is not funny. It's like a story beat where you're supposed to be kind of scared and upset from a child's perspective. You're like, oh no, Tinkerbell's dying. Let's clap. And then it's the elation that she was revived because of the clapping and the cheering and believing. But Frankie thinks that's funny.
I go in there, some kid's throwing balls at me. After I threw a few balls at the kid, I kind of turned my attention back to Gloria, and I got hit hard in the face by a ball. Like, these things are really squishy. You cannot hurt people with these unless it somehow just like whaps you in the cheek or eye.
Oh, did you get whapped?
And that's what happened. I mean, it really hit me hard. And I turn around, and it's that same kid, and he is just delighted. He loves it. He's like, this is great. I just hurt that guy.
Are you all right, man?
Can you imagine taking your kids to the trampoline park and your son singles out this fat little fucker and nails him to the point where he's like staggered, like dude failed his poise check from a 5-year-old.
I gave him a smile, and I chucked a few balls back at him, and acted like it was all good because I didn't want to shame the kid. I didn't want to do like the mom thing of like, hey, you can hurt a person.
I have a perfect example of this. I was playing hockey, and it was kind of a impromptu practice, and some of the parents, the dads, got on the ice and were like, they were about to like skate around and play a little scrimmage. So the dads decided to get their skates on, lace up, and come out with us, which is fine. We're in full gear. We're in full regulation gear. We've got wrist guards, neck guards, full face masks, full gear. The dads came out with just skates and sticks, no other gear. So to me, in my eyes, you have waived your right for safety. You are out here in the fucking jungle, and what happens, happens. So this dad goes behind the net, and he's like, I don't know, talking with the kid or what have you. He's maybe explaining how to do a technique, what have you, to his child. And I am on the point, left wing, because I'm a left-handed shot. I'm a right-handed individual with a left-handed shot. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Hockey is different than other sports. You can be a right-handed person and shoot from the left. It's just part of how hockey works. So I took my shot. It was an amazing wrist shot from the point, lifts clear over the top of the crossbar of the net, and cracks him right in his big fat beer belly. And he folded like a fucking deck chair. And I am a 12-year-old with a fucking howitzer blasting him from the point. And he gets up and he comes shambling over, screaming at me, you could have hurt me. You could have killed me. This, that, and the other. And I was more of a man at 12 than Frankie is now. Because what I said to him was, if you don't want to get hit, don't stand behind the net. And I skated away. That's it. I diffused the situation like that. What does Frankie do? I don't want to shame the guy. I don't want to shame the little kid because I got clobbered. What does he do? He internalizes it. He cries about it. I'm a big bad adult. I could whack his little fanny and tell his mama, but I'm not going to. This is what Frankie does because he's a fucking child.
So yeah, I step out and RGT is like, he's 5 years old. Don't throw balls at him. And I was like, what?
So a man observing the situation in terms of what Frankie has framed the story, we're only going off after what Frankie has framed this. He has had no other interactions with the kid. He did not yell at him. He just continued to play as normal. So this man watching from afar has looked at Frankie and said, that guy looks shook. That guy failed his poise check from a 5-year-old. So I'm going to go over there and interject and say something. And that's when he comes over and says, if you don't want to get fucking hit, don't be a bitch and stand in the way.
And he's like, he's 5 years old. If you don't want to get hit in the face in there, don't go in there.
Do you see his little teeth? His little teeth clench? He was reimagining what happened to him.
If you don't want to get hit in the face in
Look at
there,
his teeth.
don't go in there.
That right there. Did you see that? His little teeth clench? They're clenching right now. He's reimagining what happened. And this is the funny thing about Frank. He is such a little man. He is such a tiny man. He has no testosterone in there. If a man walks up and says something like that to you, you have two options. You analyze it and you come to a different conclusion, one or the other. Frankie failed that check as well. He failed the charisma check. Because if a man came to me and said, if you don't want to be in there, don't be in there, what I would have said to him was, I got clobbered. Did you see that? That was funny as shit. I might not have said that in front of children, said the S word in front of children. You don't fail your charisma check, Frankie. You have failed your fucking check because you have none. I would laugh about it and say, that kid got me good. What does Frankie do? He internalizes it. He clenches his teeth. He is a dangerous person. Do you know why he's dangerous? Because weak men are dangerous. Weak men have never been in fights. Weak men have never been tested. Weak men do not know the limit of their strength and ability. I have been in so many fights. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I have been in fights for the sake of fights. I have been in fights just because there's nothing else to do. Frankie has not. He doesn't know what it's like. He doesn't know what it's like to get the absolute shit kicked out of you. He doesn't know what it's like, the guilt you feel after you absolutely shellac somebody and they're laid out. You have no idea. You have no idea what it feels like. You have no idea the mental toll it takes on you, the physical toll it takes on you to fight continuously. When I was a kid, I was the enforcer. When I was an adult, I was the enforcer in hockey. I have fought more times than I can ever count. There are times when I was in college where we would play college hockey and I would skate to the face-off. And if I was playing left wing, which I usually did, I would skate up to the guy. If it was just a dull moment in the game, I'd skate up to the guy adjacent to me on the other team and say, I'm really bored. This game is boring. Do you want to fight? And then he'd be like, yeah, let's fight. So as soon as that puck hit the ice, we drop the gloves and fight for no other reason than being bored. You have no idea what that feels like. To not be concerned about the outcome. To not be worried about pain. To not be worried about what you do to the other person because it's a safe space. It's a safe space to be a man, to find out what your mettle is. We used to do this all the time. And what I can see in Frankie is he has that faraway look and his teeth are grit. And he is thinking about what he could have done, what he could have said, these types of things. These are weak men thoughts. These are a person who has not fought anyone. And the problem with people that are as weak as Frankie is they do drastic things. They do erratic things. These are the type of people that have road rage and swerve their car. These are the type of people that pull a gun or a knife in a situation that does not warrant it. And You know, the look in his eye right there is, I could have gone back home and I could have got my wife's gun. If she would have let me get my wife's gun, I could have gone back. I could have proved myself right there. I could have done something about this, because this was an attack on my character, on my family's character. He's probably even worried about his character, his family. He's not worried about his family at all. He's just thinking about himself. Because if you get into a fight with somebody who will absolutely whoop you, and you're in the hospital and you can't go to work, and your family suffers because you made a stupid decision, that is retarded. And here's another thing that I need to discuss about this guy telling you to stop acting like a fool. That is a conversation between men. And this guy, from what I'm understanding, is probably much more of a man than you are. And when men converse to each other, it can seem toxic. It can seem hateful. It can seem threatening, but it's not. It is a subtle tiptoe dance that men talk to each other. And when a man says something like that to me, I don't see it as a threat, but you do, because you're a weak man. You're weak. To get your cackles up, all he had to do was say, don't go to the jungle if you can't handle the heat. That's what he said to you. And that's the same shit I said to that old man on that ice rink when I was 12. If you can't handle it, get the fuck out. It's the same shit. The old man knew better and he walked away or skated away. You got all fired up about it.
And then he like walks away, and
Yes, because he ended the situation. He saw that you were about to do something foolish and he superseded. I have done this exact same thing to people, bringing up skating again. So a lot of public skates, you get a lot of dumbasses skating way too fast, doing speed skating maneuvers, nearly hitting children and nearly hitting old people that are just kind of hanging onto the boards and shuffling about. They're not proficient on the ice. Open skate, a party skate, whatever you want to call it, that type of behavior, that type of environment is supposed to be for fun. You're not supposed to go out there to prove yourself and speed skate. I could go out there and just cut it up, do some fucking moves, skate backwards, do some double deke, triple deke, whatever the heck. I could do all that crap, but I don't do it. I skate slowly. I skate with my family, and that's all there is to it. It's just for fun. You're not out there to do something stupid. You're not out there to do bad things. And so there was this little guy, but a heavy man. He was probably pushing like 100 or 200 pounds or so. But he's very, very short, probably about Frankie's size. And you could clearly see he was like an ex-ref, or he was like an ex-AA player, maybe even single A, but a fairly competitive, aggressive skater. And he's just cutting up like mad and nearly hitting kids, and my kids are out there, and I skated right up to him. I met his speed on a straightaway and said, if you hit any kid out here, I'm going to kick your ass. And I skated away. Do you know what he did? Do you want to guess what he did, Frankie? He packed up his shit and left. No other drama, no other anything. He packed up his shit and left. Because his stupid behavior was not tolerable in that environment. And he figured it out. He knew he was unwanted. He was not wanted in that environment anymore because of the social pressure he left. And that's what you should have done. You should have just left.
I just was stunned. I was like, he thinks that I'm like, and he's like, that's my kid. Those are my sons. Mm-hmm. And I think he thought
I didn't want to make a video about this.
This is going to be a weird video because I didn't expect to actually make this video.
I really didn't want to tell you to stop throwing balls at my kid.
I don't see how that's an unreasonable expectation. If somebody walks up to you and says, hey, don't throw balls at my kid, it doesn't matter that you're in the ball pit. Like I said, when I take my kid to the ball pit, I expect them to encounter other children, not a fucking pedophile, chubby ass bitch who gets butthurt when a 5-year-old clocks him in the nose.
I really didn't want to tell you.
I wasn't going to walk up to you and tell you this, but I don't know, guys. I think the Switch 2 is coming out.
Do you think it's got an 8-inch screen? Tell me in the
Oh,
comments.
God, guys, shut up. Shut your fucking mouths.
That like I have being abusive towards a child. He told me that like I have no place in the play area where I'm tending to my child.
You have no place in the play area winging balls at kids. You have a place parenting your child in the play area. But you have no place playing with other children. That's what he's saying to you, but you're too fucking stupid to understand that.
So I was like, I kind of want to fight this guy. And
You kind of want to fight this guy. Frankie, I would love to see you fight somebody. I would absolutely love it. The problem is, like I said, you are a weak man. So you're going to bring a force multiplier to the fight. You're going to bring your wife's gun or a knife or a rock or what have you. You're not going to just throw fucking hands because you're incapable of it.
I stood there for a moment being like, where are you going to take this, Frankie? I mean, like, you might not want to continue. You might want to just like remove yourself from the situation because it's about to get...
RGT.
Oh, it's about to pop off because the guy simply said, stay away from my kids. You're going to throw down because somebody had an opinion about your behavior. This is the thing about men. A real man encounters this problem and he's like, yo, like you know what? Maybe I am in the wrong. A real man analyzes, gets introspective, looks at his heart, at his soul and says, you know what? Maybe I did cross the line here. Maybe I shouldn't have done what I did. And maybe I shouldn't be so butthurt about somebody telling me I'm wrong. But that's not what Frankie does because he's a weak man. Weak men are dangerous. Weak men are incapable of knowing what their limitations are because they've never reached them. They've never tried. They've never had their shit pushed in. They've never pushed anybody else's shit in. So he does not know what he is capable of. He's the type to run over somebody with a car and be like, I just hit the accelerator.
Part of spiritual development is to recognize the satanic tendencies that characterize you and to fully wrestle with them and to integrate them. That's the thing. It's not so much to cast them away. It's to transmute them. And you can see the difference between people who've done that and people who haven't, at least to some degree, because people who haven't integrated the shadow at all are naive. And you can tell that when you look at them, and you can tell that when you talk to them. And because they're naive, they're often resentful as well because they get taken advantage of. And someone who's integrated that more, they're dangerous in the martial arts sort of way, which is they're dangerous, but they don't have to use it because their presence radiates implicit potential for havoc, and that's really necessary. It's one of the things that gives people self-respect.
If you're harmless, you're not virtuous. You're just harmless. You're like a rabbit. A rabbit isn't virtuous. It just can't do anything except get eaten. It's not virtuous. If you're a monster and you don't act monstrously, then you're virtuous. But you also have to be a monster. Well, you see this all the time. Harry Potter's like that too. It's like he's flawed, he's hurt, he's got evil in him. He can talk to snakes, man. He breaks rules all the time. All the time. He's not obedient at all. But, he has a good reason for breaking the rules. And if he couldn't break the rules, him and his little clique of rule-breaking, troublemakers, if they didn't break the rules, they wouldn't attain the highest goal. So it's very peculiar, but it's a very, 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 very common mythological notion. The hero has to be a monster, but a controlled monster. Batman is like that, it's everywhere. It's the story you always hear.
So Jordan Peterson has broken this down in a way Frankie can understand. Because Frankie only understands theatrics. He only understands movies, those types of things. Oh, I know Batman. I know Spider-Man. The thing about being a monster is it takes years to be a monster. Everything takes time. It takes years to control being a monster. And I'll give you a perfect example. I have, like I said, been in fights my entire life. It's whatever. It's just part of my upbringing. part of the sports I like to play, aggressive, high stakes, hard hitting, man stuff. Okay. And in those instances, I had to learn when it is time to strike and time to back off. Learn when you need to be a monster. Learn when you need to defend yourself. Learn when you need to unsheath your sword. The problem is, Frankie, is that you don't understand that time. You think a man at the ball pit telling you to stop whomping on his kids is time to unsheath your sword and invoke your violent retribution against him. Because you're so off base. Because you are so weak.
If you're going to be a fighter, you have to want to win. And you have to want to hurt people. I mean, not for the sake of hurting them. That's what makes you different than an evil person. But you have to have that capacity. You have to develop that. And, you know, that's the step on the way to enlightenment, weirdly enough, because that isn't what people think.
I have talked about this in my other videos. Steve is one of these people that has embraced the shadow. I have embraced the shadow. I have embraced the evil inside of me. I've understood my sin. And when you understand your sin, you can fully cast out the evil of humanity, the original sin, the nasty, dirty stuff that is born with you and can die with you if you let it. That nasty, dirty stuff is what Frankie is stuck with. He's going to church, but he still doesn't understand what church means. He doesn't understand why he's going there, to cast out the evil. And he can call what I do evil, but this is essentially a form of ministry. I just cuss. I mean, if I was in a small group with Frankie, and that's another topic I want to discuss in a future video, but if I was in a small group with Frankie, I would have these discussions with him, and he would probably never come back to the small group because he'd be so upset with me and so upset. I mean, this is the type of stuff that I take guys out on, day trips for shooting. We go out shooting. I take them to my backyard gun range and we shoot guns, all the guys from the church, and I provide the ammunition and I teach a little bit of things that I know, but I don't impose my will on them. As long as they're safe, it's cool, whatever, have fun, plink away, target shoot, whatever you want to do. It's for fun. It's man stuff. It's part of being a man, learning what a bullet does to somebody. Frankie knows what a bullet does in a movie, but he's never shot something. He's never killed something. He's never harvested its organs and ate them. You're not a killer, Frankie. You've never killed. You never will, because you're stuck in this urban environment where everything is provided to you and everything is easy for you. It's an easy lifestyle. There's a lot of people like Frankie that start getting into the gun culture, the Second Amendment scene, and they think they have to buy all this gear. I've got to get the backpack. I got to get the plate carrier. I've got to get the IR laser to attach to my gun. I got to get the special gun, the expensive one with the bolt carrier group and the adjustable gas block system and the all this, that, and the other. And they want to accessorize their life instead of, they're doing this because they want to prepare for a doomsday situation where they have to defend their family, themselves, all these things. But they haven't focused on the basics, because you can go out and you can buy 10,000 rounds of ammunition, and that's good. You should have 10,000 rounds of ammunition, but you also should have hundreds of gallons of water on reserve. Put it in your basement. Fresh, clean drinking water. Why? Because if you have no water and you've already died of thirst, those 10,000 rounds don't mean shit. Nothing. They mean nothing. People don't worry about the basics. They worry about the shiny thing that really, water is cheap. You can buy gallons of it for dollars. Pennies on the dollar, depending on where you buy it from. Go to Costco, go to your Wally Worlds, whatever. You're not worried about the basics, Frankie. You're not worried about having a good supply of water. You're not worried about the fundamentals of being a man and understanding what a man is. Understanding that that is not a threat. That one that you experienced that you thought was a threat is not a threat. That is a gentle discussion. And it took you to the point where you were gritting your teeth.
And then the question is, well, should you turn into a monster? And the answer to that is yes, you should. But you should do it voluntarily and not accidentally, and you should do it with the good in mind rather than falling prey to it by possession, essentially. Nietzsche said, if you look into an abyss for too long, you risk having the abyss gaze back into you, right? The idea is that if you look at something monstrous, you have a tendency to turn into a monster. And people are often very afraid of looking at monstrous things exactly for that reason.
When you looked in the mirror and looked at yourself, you might run away screaming because you'd have a revelation of just exactly what the human being is capable of. And that's a very unpleasant revelation, and also one of the things that stops people from being enlightened, because that revelation of the evil of the self is part of the journey to enlightenment, and an early part. But a good person isn't harmless. A good person is capable of anything, but is willing to hold that in abeyance.
If you're harmless...
Did you understand that, Frankie? A good person isn't harmless. A monster holds a monstrous nature in abeyance. And that is part of spiritual enlightenment. Understanding what you are, understanding who you are, controlling who you are. Not just going to church and spitting out some fucking bile in front of a room full of people in a mall. You say all the right things, or you try to say all the right things to appeal to the people in that room, but you don't understand what they mean because you haven't been to church long enough and you haven't gone to the right church. You're in a fucking mall church. It is a pointless endeavor. I have been to mall churches, several of them, and they all want the same thing. They want to build the building, and they want to take the collection plate and pass it around, and they want to gather as much money as they can so they can build the building, so we can finally have this, that, and the other. And I've heard you say in the past something about from the other site they were at, one of the other sites they were practicing at. So they're definitely moving. This is a common theme with churches of this nature. They're pop-ups. They pop up and they shuffle around a lot. And they do this because they, for one thing, they burn bridges and they have to reinvigorate their people that come to church, their congregation. So they have to find fresh blood because they've burned their bridges. So they hop around from site to site. Not only that, they focus on things that are catchy. They focus on things that are not of the word of God. They focus on things that are modern and popular, or not even popular, just sinful. Just things that are catchy and infectious, like the type of music they listen to and the type of sermons they have, and the lack of actual diatribe about the Bible. You know, if your pastor doesn't walk up to the podium, crack that Bible and start reading, you need to leave the fucking church. Because the word is all that fucking matters. It's all that matters. If you're not following the word, the church is lost. Period.
You're not virtuous. You're just harmless. You're like a rabbit. A rabbit isn't virtuous. You just can't do anything except get eaten. It's not virtuous. If you're a monster and you don't act monstrously, then you're virtuous. But you also have to be a monster. You know, part of Jung's contention was, well, you had to understand yourself as a monster if you were ever going to maintain some control over the fact that you are in fact a monster, and that could come forth if the situation is correct.
Nietzsche commented on that a fair bit. He thought of most morality as cowardice, not because morality itself was cowardice, but because most people who are cowards disguise their cowardice as morality, and they claim that their harmlessness, which is actually a consequence of their fear and inability to be harmful, say, or to be dangerous, is actually a sign of their moral integrity. And that's a really bad idea. If you're an axe murderer but you don't have an axe, that doesn't mean that you're moral. So that's the persona. And the persona is the mask that you wear, and that's what persona means, is the mask that you wear to convince yourself and the world that you're not a terrible monster, so that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't have to run away screaming. I can stumble up towards the light, you know, insofar as I've been able to master my darkest self and to contemplate what that might be, and to decide that that isn't where I'm going, no matter what. It's like, well, I don't want to be a monster. Okay, well, how much of a monster are you? Well, you need to contemplate your own malevolence because that helps you understand who you are and who you could be. And you could be something absolutely brutal and terrible. So you need to contemplate your own malevolence so that you understand who you are.
So the quote about staring into the abyss and becoming the abyss. Yes, that is true. I have stared into the abyss. I have become the abyss. But you don't have to end it that way. You don't have to make the abyss your identity. You don't have to let the abyss become your identity. What you can do is understand what the abyss is through and through and how the abyss affects your flesh, your mind, your soul. And when you are changed, you are forever changed by staring into it. But you can still be a Christian, godly man with an abyss. I have seen people torn apart. I have seen death and destruction. I know what it's like. I have felt it. I have dealt it. But what I have done is woven that into my tapestry of my soul. I've woven that into the armor around my soul. I have used the evil to strengthen myself. Because when somebody says something silly like, hey, you probably shouldn't be throwing balls at kids, I have time to run it through the little noggin, to run that course of action in my brain and think, is this a threat? No, it's not a threat. This is a conversation. Frankie doesn't have that. The abyss controls Frankie. I mean, the sin and the evil of the world controls him. He is of the world. He is not of God. He is of the world because he buys things that are of the world, the plastic, the trash, and he consumes things of the world, the box max, and he exhibits things onto the world and those around him, like feeding his friend. He doesn't see that as a sin. That is a sin. To force feed your friend to the point where they will die, and he knows it, that is a sin, but he does nothing of it. To be a hypocrite on the internet, to be the type of person who is very intolerant of questions and comments and things that people bring to him, to his attention. He hates criticism. And he fence sits and he stabs friends in the back. And he uses people for leverage to get ahead because he is of this world. And his church experience is just something he puts on. It's just another cosplay for him. It's just another performative, transformative bullshit cosplay thing. Whatever he can get away with, another grift he can pass off. Because he's not learning anything from the church he's at. And that's very evident in the way his behavior outside of church.
And that means you have to contemplate.
All right, we're done with Peterson. I like Peterson because he can say things in a way that makes sense to me, and I don't beat around the bush trying to figure it out. He can put a very fine point on it. Okay, we're still blathering on about this guy.
So here's how I handled it. I walked back up to him. I walked right up to him, right? Like not quite belly to belly, but we're getting there.
Something wrong, Huey?
No. No, I'm totally comfortable. Why would you ask that?
Well, your blood pressure is 150/90.
And I said quietly to him, looked him in the eye. I said, it's a real shame that you think that I would ever try to hurt a kid in this place. And then I walked away. You don't get to, be the hall monitor here. Fuck you.
Yeah.
He's not being a hall monitor. He's talking about his own children. And he can say whatever the fuck he wants about his own children. Don't throw balls at my kid. That's what he's saying, Frankie. You don't understand that. You're too stupid to understand that. It's not for adults to go throwing balls at children, 5-year-olds. If you threw a ball at my 5-year-old, I would knock your fucking head off. Do you understand me? I would destroy you right in front of everybody you know. It's just retarded that you would think that is acceptable behavior. Do not try to tell this man how to parent his children, and do not tell this man what he can and can't say about his children. You're stupid and missing the point as per usual.
I just don't like being told what to do. You know, that's a big part of it.
Oh yeah, you don't like being told what to do. You don't like when somebody who is wiser than you is explaining things to you in a way that your stupid mind can understand.
No, I understand that completely.
Never wanted to be told what to do. Not by teachers.
Even his body, like you see his posture, he's like bouncing. It's this nervous energy. It's this, he is thinking back to what happened to him. And it's such a tiny little bullshit experience, but it is still rocking him. He probably takes a shower and thinks about it. He has shower thoughts about this type of shit.
Not by nobody. To this day, I mean, like in my employment, like if somebody,
I mean,
yeah, heaven forbid somebody at your liberal college you work at tells you what to do, because you have all this feminine energy, Frankie. That's really the problem here. I'm seeing not only that, but you're spiritually fucking broken, but you have feminine energy throughout your entire life where you think this is a threat by somebody talking to you in that manner.
yeah, I guess I get it from my dad or something. That's a little bit of the hot-headedness, but at least it's not quite as aggressive.
So he gave you a hot head, but he didn't give you the ability to control it. Your dad failed too.
Or bad as him, but it's definitely, my heart rate goes way up and I'm like, what am I going to do here?
No, I understand that.
I'm glad I didn't end up fighting with RGT, you know, like in the Thunderdome of trampolines.
Because that would have been a godly way of conducting yourself, Frankie. That would have been a godly way to end your Saturday or your Sunday after leaving church, right? Whooping up on some guy because he told you to stop hitting his kids. I mean, I want to see that one in a court of law. I want to see that one where he's like, yeah, judge, I asked him to please stop hitting my children with balls. This is an area for children to play. And then he hit me. I would have been like, yeah, verdict for the plaintiff, slam the gavel. Frankie's got community service and he has to pay a fine, and he's got to pay like damages and pay for the guy's parking pass for the trampoline park. Like, fuck you. This is ridiculous behavior. This is not manly behavior. And this is the problem that I've seen from Frankie from day one, and I have talked about since day one. This all the way back to the first video I ever made about him when I said men have generators. That's what men have, because he told me they're preppers. He said in his video they're preppers. Men that have generators are preppers. I'm like, no, I sell generators. I install generators. And are you telling me that the 90-year-old woman who needs an oxygen machine to run in the middle of a power outage is gonna turn me down for, you know, installing a generator? You're fucking stupid. You don't understand what the real world is. A lot of my customers are people like you that want peace of mind and want something that's going to sustain them. These are sustainable things. You have an unsustainable lifestyle. What's going to happen when we have a tornado that rolls through your town? There's no food or water, and all you have is like Funko Pops. Like, are you going to burn them to stay warm? Like, what? You don't have a sustainable lifestyle. You have one gun in the house. It's your wife's. You probably don't know how to shoot it. You probably have one case of ammo. You probably have 50 rounds and they're dusty. You don't even know if they work. And it's probably a little fucking 9mm handgun or some bullshit like that. You've never fired a rifle. You've never, you know, you're the type of guy that I'm going to throw a rifle into your shoulder and teach you how to shoot. And you're going to fire the first time. And then you're going to look at me and go, ow, that hurt my shoulder. You know, your lifestyle is this cookie cutter urban lifestyle where the worst thing that's ever happened to you is a guy said something you didn't like at the trampoline park. And it is an assault on your manliness. It's an assault on your character. And it gets you so riled up, you have to talk about it on your stupid podcast. These are not principles that a man needs to exhibit. What a man should do is learn what to do in these situations. In these situations, you say, okay, am I right or wrong? Even if you are wrong, you still walk away. Okay? Even if you're totally wrong, you don't need the confrontation. That's really it. He has exhibited no threat to you. He walked away. Do you understand that you have re-engaged the man? So you don't even have a self-defense claim. If he would have got up in your grill and was spitting, cussing, and trying to like swing on you, then you would have had a self-defense, leg to stand on. But you have walked away from, he walked away from you. You re-engaged. You re-engaged with him. So you have put yourself back in the line of fire for your stupid ego, vanity, little man syndrome bullshit. A self-defense person, a self-defense trainer will tell you that is the dumbest thing you could ever do is put yourself back in the line of fire. I have my concealed carry, Frankie. I can tell you all these things. Don't do that. If you think you're threatened, then leave. Fucking leave. Do you understand? You don't go back into a threatening situation. If you are so rocked to your core that you're gritting your teeth and shaking, leave. Do not re-engage. It's just self-defense 101. Don't put yourself back into a hostile environment. But you're too fucking stupid. You have brain rot. Your behavior was totally off base. You needed to acknowledge your problem, acknowledge what you did wrong, and move on from it. But instead, you're just acting like a fucking fool and talking about it on the internet and doxing him and doxing all the kids. You're so stupid. Continuously stupid. You see, nobody's freedom of privacy or a right of privacy. You see, nobody's right of taking care of their own kids as a right of theirs. You take it away from them because you have to control that situation. You're a weak fucking man. You're a weak man. That's it. You don't understand. You don't understand what the man's right of parenting his own child is. You don't understand his right to tell you to stop hitting his kid in the face with a ball is. And you don't understand the rights of defending yourself. Because you think you're going to get up in his grill and fight him because he told you to stop and walked away. Oh my God, Frankie, you're so stupid. Like I can't overemphasize this. You need to just get on the mic with me, dude. Like this is pointless. You need to, if you want to debate me about something, let's get on the fucking hot mic. You and me, one-on-one. No EJ to back you up. Live stream motherfucking. Just get on here and let's talk. Because you have no idea what's in store for you. I will tear you apart piece by piece. And you're terrified, man. Like I'm the chicken fucker. That's what you called me, the chicken fucker. Like, dude, if your mind even goes to that. I never called you the cow fucker, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of funny. Anyway, you'll probably flag this one, but I don't care. See you later, everybody.